we understand, has rejected Flipkart's takeover offer of $870 million. Sources tell us that the Snapdeal board rejected the offer because it felt that the offer undervalued the company. However, we learned that talks between the e-commerce players will continue. Kritika joins us now with that news break. Kritika, I would imagine that this is negotiation tactics on the part of both Snapdeal and Flipkart. Snapdeal hoping to arrive at a better valuation and extract a better price.
You said it, Shri. There's absolutely no reason to decipher that the deal is off. This is just a negotiation. So the due diligence, I understand, ended on Friday, after which Snapdeal investors, founders met today to assess the offer. This is the first financial offer submitted by Flipkart. I understand it is $870 million. As per the discussion between Flipkart and Snapdeal investors and founders, the amount that they had agreed to was $1.1 to $1.2 billion. This was before the formal due diligence started. After which they began the due diligence. There was a term sheet that was signed, which was non-binding, exclusive talks between the two players. And now the term sheet was set to expire. So as a result of that, Flipkart had to present the first offer. What happens now? Basically, the timeline and the exclusivity clause is now expiring this week. So that is likely to be extended by another 3 months. Tomorrow, Flipkart, there is a very important meeting between the investors, founders and Flipkart management to assess the road ahead and to look at timelines and how they want to go about it. So 3 months is what I understand the exclusivity clause may be extended to. Flipkart board will also be meeting simultaneously next week, Shireen, to take a decision on what to do next. So if Snapdeal has formally rejected this, they will decide on what the next offer should be. And the sense throughout, Shireen, has been that Snapdeal investors and founders will not budge below $1.1 billion.
Okay, thanks very much, Kritika. Let's bring in a quick reaction now. Former Flipkart Vice President Manish Maheshwari, who's currently the CEO of Network 18 Digital, is with us. Manish, thanks very much. So, $870 million is the first offer on the table from Flipkart after the due diligence to Snapdeal, which we understand has been rejected by the Snapdeal board. But do you believe that this is just negotiation 101? Manish? Well, we seem to have lost that line with Manish, but we'll try and reconnect with him. Kritika, any idea on when we can expect the board to meet again?
So, Snapdeal investors will again be meeting Flipkart tomorrow. So, once Flipkart board revises their offer, then Snapdeal will once again. So, next week is an important timeline. Shireen, I forgot to mention an important part that happened in the meeting. So far, SoftBank is the one who's been leading the discussion. And the fact is that SoftBank wants a stake in the combined entity. They want about 20%. So, the issues have been from the founders and the smaller investors like Kalari Capital and Nexus. Nexus being the one that will be disagreeing. But in today's meeting, I understand that SoftBank was the one that actually completely rejected it. There is a sense of unhappiness about the fact that the first offer in itself is significantly lower than what they had discussed. There is a little bit of lack of clarity, even in the offer in terms of how the merger will pan out, employee retention, etc. So there's a disparity in the talks between these players, and SoftBank seems to be unhappy for the first time.
Okay, Manish is with us. Manish, thanks very much. I understand that there is a rejection of the first offer that's come in from Flipkart at $870 million post the due diligence by the Snapdeal board. Are you surprised at all?
Yeah, so I think it's quite understandable given where things are today. If you look at it, I mean, Flipkart is in a negotiating position, right? I mean, so clearly the asset that Snapdeal presents is not much of a strategic importance to Flipkart. And also, it is very clear that there are not too many buyers for what Snapdeal has. So clearly, there's a bit of a good negotiation going on here, and Flipkart is on the upper hand. And if you look also at the macro picture, right? I mean, India is sort of becoming the battleground for the American and Chinese companies. So on one side, you have the Amazon, which is really pumping money and getting better and better every month. And on the other side, you have the Alibaba, Snapdeal combined with Alibaba. And sort of, SoftBank with investment in sort of Snapdeal and Paytm. Now, they realize that if there's a three-way battle in India between, say, the Alibaba, SoftBank group, Amazon on one side, and then the third one being Flipkart. In a three-way battle, most likely Amazon will emerge as a winner. Now they are desperate to sort of create a front, which is which is the second the other front versus Amazon, and there is desperation on sort of the Alibaba SoftBank side to combine the two entities and sort of play a more organized game against Amazon, and that is what is showing up on their side as well. So I think my view would be that ultimately this merger would happen, and I think the price point is subject to negotiation. I think in this negotiation game, Flipkart has an upper handle, so they would probably bring the price down because for them, it is sort of a great deal which is coming their way. Also, if you notice, the investors are quite different. So in a situation like this, when there is a desperate fire sale, depending on the liquidation preference, the investors who have a low liquidation preference, they get wiped out, and usually those are the investors that tend to hold out. So it might be happening is that, with the offer that is coming from Flipkart side, the investors who are lower in the liquidation preference on the Snapdeal side might be getting wiped out, and they'll be holding out. So somehow the investors who are strategically interested in the sale would have to figure out a way to buy them out. And I think those kind of discussions will continue happening. I think it is becoming a more long drawn than I was hoping. But Yeah, but I think it's quite understandable that there has to be a front that has to emerge versus Amazon, and logically, Snapdeal and Flipkart have to merge, and sort of with Paytm also, where I think Alibaba SoftBank has a good investment, so the three of them together sort of can become a very good front against Amazon.
Okay, well, it is looking like it's going to be a long-drawn affair. What we understand from sources is that the first offer made by Flipkart of $870 million has been rejected by the Snapdeal board. Manish, many thanks.